When we come up on a scene, the way we're not going to find a car is like this, right? It's going to be on its side, it's going to be in a ditch, it's going to be wrapped around a tree in some way, shape, or form. The first thing that we're going to do is what we call stabilize the vehicle. We're going to put chocks underneath the side, and we're going to access the engine compartment where the battery is. We want to disconnect the battery as soon as possible, especially in 2025 where we have so many electric cars. We want to disable the vehicle in every way, shape, and form. For even gas-powered cars, we need to cut the battery cable so that we can disconnect all of the airbags and reduce the danger to the person that's inside. So what they're doing right now is that they're breaking the glass so that they can control it. They want to make sure that the patient would be covered inside. They want to make sure that they're containing the glass and they're not causing more harm to the patient. Firefighter Duke's with what we call a Halligan tool. He's making a purchase point for the door. We need to be able to get the tips of the spreaders in. So he's driving the adze of the Halligan tool in. Then he's going to make a purchase point, a place where we can get the tools in. So on the driver's side of the vehicle, they've already got the door off. Now while we're working on the door on this side, another thing I want to make you aware of, this is where life flight comes into play most often in the town of Spencer. You'll see that it's going to take them some time to open the door, to pull the roof, to push the dash. That's time where the patient's not being transported to the hospital, so we're bringing ultimately the hospital to them. So the question was, do we pop the tires? Yes. What we'll do is we'll put the step chocks underneath, we'll pop the tires and let the vehicle rest on that, and that takes all that rock out of the vehicle. We've got to be able to roll it out of the way today, so we left them whole. So by taking the spreaders into the window like that, that's another way to make that purchase point that I talked about. So you're going to see as he opens up the spreaders, it's going to flex the door and it's going to pop that out, and then you'll be able to get the spreaders into the door. Now think about your car door. It has two hinges and it has what we call a nadir pin, the point where the door latches. We need to expose those 3 points so that we can remove the door. That's what's holding the door on. What's that?
Are you doing the right thing?
They're doing the right thing right now, yep. The reason we're taking the doors all the way off is we have to access this patient. We have to get all the way around to see where their injuries are. Again, don't forget, it's not just the doors keeping them in there, but potentially the front of the car has come into the patient, potentially the roof of the car has collapsed down on the patient. We want to have all of the access around that patient that we can have. So another question from the young man right here, why can't we just take a patient out the window? It's a great question, right? We need to make sure that we don't take a potential injury in their neck and make it a real injury in their neck. So that's another reason why we're creating all this access. All right, so what they're doing now with that saw, that's a special saw to take the glass out. So you're gonna see that he's gonna use that saw and he's gonna open up the windshield all the way around. Now see, you saw when they broke the side windows, they just popped and it came out. The difference between the side window and the front window is it's laminated glass. So we can't just break it, we have to cut it out. What about the car catching on fire? And it's a very real concern because there could be gas, there could be sparks, there could be stuff. We also have a hose line standing by, right? So this car could completely erupt in flames and they're just boom right there. They're ready to put the water on it. there's 6 posts on this vehicle, right? You have the frontmost post is the A post, then B, and then C. They're going to cut through those posts up high because then we're going to protect them. After those posts are cut, we can either roll the roof back or we can take the roof right off if we cut all 6. Today we're just going to cut 2 or 4 of them, and we're going to roll the roof back because the extra cuts are time that we may or may not have. The tools that we have are 10,000 pound technology, that's what they're called. They operate normally at 2,000 pounds. They move at 2,000 pounds of force, and when they come under pressure, they start to build to 10,000 pounds. So inside these battery operated tools, there's very short hoses that pressure builds very, very quickly. There's the red and the blue hoses that you see coming out of the rescue are over 100 feet long. It takes a very long, it could take up to 1.5 minutes to go from 2,000 to 10,000 pounds. And on a fire scene with a patient in there, that's an eternity. These new tools have been an amazing addition to our department. So what they're doing is they're creating a flat spot in the roof, and now they're rolling it back, right? So once that's flat, it's very flimsy, it's all tin, even though it seems like they're having a... Now something's not flat. And that's my job on scene. I don't get to touch the tools anymore, and it's my job on scene to say, why is that taking a little longer? Why is it being a little more difficult? And to think of the next step. Cars break and crush in a lot of different ways. We have to be ready for the next plan. You can see that we have all the room that we need to now properly assess the patient. What you're not seeing here is all the patient care that's happening at the same time. The medics are working alongside us. We have, like I said, we have firefighters underneath the blanket with the patient. The patient is our #1 concern. We can't take a bad situation and make it worse. So what they're going to do next is they're going to make a cut down on the bottom to weaken that car, and then they're going to use our ram and they're going to push, and you're going to see the car start to give way. It'll open itself right up. All right, so the last thing we're going to show you, we have what's called an airbag. So we have 4 of these airbags that we can use, and we can use 2 of them together, and we can lift to a certain amount, and then we'll crib it, then we can reset. Sky's the limit. It's just a matter of how many times we want to do it. You're going to see a basic lift right now. You can see that they've set the chocks underneath, and they're going to just pick the car up. But for all intents and purposes, the little bit that we're going to lift now is only the ground level of what we can do. Thank you. Now we can stack 2 airbags, so we can actually go double that. And then again, we can only go 2 airbags high, but what we would do is you can see them push the chocks in underneath. What they'll do is they'll lower it down onto the chalk, and they'll build up the cribbing underneath it, and they'll lift again. Then they'll chalk it, and then they'll let it down, and they'll lift again. All right, so that's the end of the demo. Thank you all very much.